Time to expose my camo secrets again. Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. Today, I'm going to be telling you and showing you how to unlock the Genesis camo, Endgame's final mastery camo, in how long? Drumroll, please. 1 day.
You what?
I recently did the same with the multiplayer singularity camo and seemed to help a lot of people out. And from that, so many people asked me how to get Genesis in 1 day. So here I am. And in the same way, when I say 1 day, I don't mean one actual day. I mean 1 day of in-game time. It's different, but this game is probably the closest you can get to getting the mastery camos in one actual day. I mean, I've got all three of them, singularity, infestation, and Genesis already. But listen, if this video helps you out and you also want to know how to get the infestation camo, Black Ops 7 zombies mastery camo in 1 day as well, then let's get 3,000 likes on this video and I'll do that. And if you are new around here, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of my Black Ops 7 content. But let's get started. So the endgame grind is a little bit different to anything we've ever really seen before. I guess the closest you can really compare it to is the Modern Warfare zombies grind. So the military camos in this mode are 250 critical kills, and that's for most weapons other than the shotguns, which is point blank kills instead, and also the launchers, which is just kills. Oh yeah, of course, the melee weapons, which are also just kills as well, 250 of them. The thing is though, similar to multiplayer and even zombies, you might see all of these camo challenges and think, okay, this is what I need to do straight away. To get this as fast as possible, let me get all the headshots. Well, it works a little bit differently in this mode. That's actually not your initial focus. Your initial focus should be to increase your combat rating. So your combat rating will start at 0, and that means you are just a base level regular operator in the match. However, as you work your way up through the combat ratings, you get different abilities and different power-ups that help you become stronger, faster, increase your damage, which in turn helps you maneuver around the more difficult zones on the map, which also in turn makes your camo grind faster. So first step, increase your combat rating.
Do it!
Oh wait, I just joined with a squad of teammates. I'm an idiot. Anyway, there's many different ways of doing this, and what I would say is get familiar with endgame. That's probably the most important part. One of the biggest things is learning how endgame works, what the contracts are, what the missions are, what the enemies are, the different types. However, 9 times out of 10, you will learn that on the way. But to increase your combat rating initially, what I would suggest is complete the HVT contracts. Now, funnily enough, my teammates just started one. They're probably trying to do the exact same thing. So as you can see, my combat rating is already at 60, so I can move around insanely quick. My damage level, as you can see bottom right, is at 3, meaning my weapon is already extremely powerful. So if I wanted to, I could go straight to the red zone and kill all of the enemies in there with no problems. However, although I'm already at damage level 3, I can still increase the damage on my weapon by increasing its rarity, but we'll get into that later on. First of all, you want to complete contracts to get your combat rating up. At the same time though, yes, of course, you can still get some headshots on the weapon you're using. Watch how fast I kill this HVT, by the way. Look, my teammates are dying. There you go. I got you guys. Don't worry. But basically, each HVT you can complete one, and there will be another one. You can see it right here. Once you do that one, another one will spawn, and so on. And basically, you want to keep doing those until your combat rating gets high enough to where you feel comfortable in the next zone, which would be this yellow zone. I would probably suggest being at around a 20 combat rating. You get to 10 and you get your first damage increase, and that will make it so it's a lot easier to combat the first zone. The second zone, yeah, you can do it. You might still struggle at times, but I would suggest just doing the HVT contract. Do the HVTs, move to the next zone. Once you feel confident enough, move to the next zone once you're at a high enough combat rating. For the third zone, I would definitely suggest being above 30 so you can get to damage level 2. Once you're at damage level 2, you can survive in the third zone easy, especially if you go to a jailbreak workbench and increase the rarity of your weapon. Genuinely though, all I would suggest is doing the HVT eliminations. That's it. You can even get your combat rating higher a lot quicker if you go straight to the red zone and complete the HVT contracts in there. You can only really get away with doing that though if you've got a teammate that's at a high enough combat rating so they can take out the enemy. But the HVTs are the only ones you really ever want to be doing. They're so easy. You can just focus on that one enemy, get out of there, and you're good. Zip line up here. We're in zone 2 right now. Let's pick up this HVT contract. Thank you very much. All the way down there, just literally fly down here. You can see how much it gives you as well. This gives me 750. I don't really know what that translates to. I think that's at least a level, probably more, to be honest. Fly into the zone. You can see it. It marks the HVT. Now I can just fly down at it. Where are you? Where's the door?
Hello there.
Boom. Nice and easy. Got that, and we got a weapon case if we wanted to switch weapons, which is very important later in the grind, so make sure you guys stay tuned. Anyway, once you've got to combat rating 30, I would say that's where your camo grind really starts, and this is where you really want to start working on the critical kills. So what you want to do, these two guys are probably doing it right here. You want to go to the left side of the map in the tier 3 zone, and here you can get infinite critical kills insanely fast. I'm talking about you'll get all 250 critical kills in 10 minutes, if that. What I'm gonna do first though is upgrade my weapon to legendary. Now, if you don't feel confident going in this building to do that, you can wait until someone's already done it, so it just makes it much easier. Upgrade my weapon. There we go. You can see it on the map right here. You'll see the orange workbench. However, if you don't feel confident, like I said, there's one in every zone. All you have to do is complete the command center. Once you kill the target in the command center, the workbench will spawn in that building. But like I said, 9 times out of 10, someone in the game is going to do that for you, so most of the time you don't even have to do it yourself. Let's just fly over here. Let's go. Look, actually, there's one right here. Here's a purple jailbreak workbench. One thing I will say is what's very important in the grind is having this Arrow 109 launcher. I'm telling you. However, you don't want to bring it in your own loadout. What you want to do is whilst you're completing those HVT contracts that I told you about, if you open the weapon cases, you will eventually find one of these, and it might just seem like a launcher and you think, you know what, I don't need that. No, you couldn't be more wrong. This weapon right here is literally the wonder weapon of Endgame. It destroys hordes of zombies like it's nothing. It takes out special zombies like it's nothing. Look, this guy's here doing the exact same thing. Look at how crazy this launcher is, by the way. It's insane. Even with this special zombie, look at this. Look. It's gone. It's just so crazy how strong the launcher is. So if you find yourself in a difficult situation, use this launcher and you can just take them out. Even the disciples, which are typically the strongest ones. Look at it. It's one shot. There we go. Absolutely destroyed. So if you ever find this in a weapon case out of the HVT contract, please pick it up and make sure you upgrade it at one of the workbenches, whether it's the orange one in the middle, whether it's a purple one if you eventually find one of those. Look for that icon on the map, upgrade it, and bring it into every match with you, as well as obviously your main weapon. But we're in the area where we want to farm all of the critical kills now, and not just the critical kills. Obviously with shotguns it's point blanks. Once you get here, you have your weapon upgraded. Even if you don't have it upgraded, because you're at damage rating 3 already, which I think is at 55 or 45 actually, combat rating 45, or damage 2 at combat rating 30, you might feel confident enough to come in here. Depends on the weapon as well, to be fair, but if you've got a weapon you feel confident enough, come to this area and just farm all of your kills. If you want point blanks, just stand close to them. Once you're at a high enough combat rating as well, you take a lot less damage to the zombies. You have a lot more armor placed as well, so you can literally just stand close to them and make sure every kill that you get is a point blank. If you need headshots, you can just line all of the fears up. The fears literally just keep respawning as you run up and down this one zone. Yo, why are these guys here? The more you keep running up and down here, more and more zombies spawn. You can fly all the way up and down here with your grapple hook. You'll eventually see some of them spawn. With the weapon I'm using though, I would usually just destroy the mangler with my launcher and then just focus on the regular zombies, lining them all up, getting the critical kills and moving on to the next group that I find. Look at that. They're all just running at me, even more spawned up. And this is what you want to do for all 250 of the critical kills. And that's why I said that getting your combat rating up is the most important part. You don't want to waste your time in the regular zone, just farming the regular people for too long, hardly doing contracts. You don't want to waste your time in the regular zone. Try to get yourself to the tier 3 zone as fast as humanly possible. You know, get your combat rating up. Don't go there too early though, because you'll end up dying and then you'll end up losing all of your combat rating and then you'll have to start all over again. Damn. Build up, get to this zone, and that's where everything becomes insanely smooth. All right, this guy needs to go. There we go. He's gone. Focus on the point blanks again. For the melee weapons, once you're at a high enough damage rating anyway, so once you're at a high enough combat rating, your melee will one-shot in this zone. At least the flatline does. The flatline is slower hitting, but it one-shots the zombies if you've got damage level 3. If you've not got damage level 3, maybe damage level 2, and you're not one-shotting them, then you'll probably have to upgrade it at one of those workbenches. The regular knife definitely needs to be upgraded to be able to one-hit these zombies, and that will make your life a lot easier when doing that challenge of just getting the the kills. But again, once you're at high enough combat rating, you feel almost invincible to zombies like this. I'll be honest. The only time you feel fear is being in the tier 4 zone when there's so many of them attacking you, but you don't even have to worry. Like, I don't even have to move and I know I'm good. And this is the same for every weapon, by the way. It's not like the snipers, even though they are critical kills and will probably be more annoying. It's not like you have to do anything different for those. You still just come to this zone and try and make sure you're getting headshots. This is just the best way to do it. Don't get me wrong, there's multiple places on the map where you can do this. Here's probably the best place, but if it's too crowded, there's too many people, then you can go to the top of resort and do it here in this area around this hill. Or you could go to this middle area next to casino, above casino. You can do it pretty much anywhere. It's just this long line on the side of the map is the best place. I think the launcher kills are pretty much self-explanatory as well. The great thing is you also hardly take any damage to your own launcher, if any. I mean, I could stand in the middle of these guys, fire down, kill all of them, and not have any effect on myself. I mean, it's kind of weird. That's why I stress combat rating is so important. Look at them all spawning up. It's so easy. I would ignore the disciple and let it just keep respawning zombies. And then look, all of them wiped out. Like it's nothing. And then I've already got more spawning in. Do you know how fast you can get the critical kills done? It's insane. If you're wanting to be as efficient as possible, you want to be aiming for getting a gold gun every single match. You'll get your combat rating high enough. You'll come here, get the 250 critical kills within 10 minutes. And then you've got to start focusing on the special challenges. And that's where certain things might have to be done a little bit differently. However, there's a lot of special challenges that are simply just eliminate 100 fears. Just do that here. Just carry on doing exactly what you was doing. Some of them will be shortly after sliding, diving, or jumping off walls. All I would do, I mean, look at all these zombies, by the way. Like, this is insane. And there's still more coming. Do you see how overpowered this is? Look at that. What? By the way, if you ever run out of armor plates, what you want to do is pick up those ammo packs that drop on the floor. And not just that, if you go to one of the ammo stations, the ammo caches, once you use that, that will give you full plates as well. So it's pretty simple to keep your plates up. So for the sliding kills, I would literally just slide into the enemies and shoot. So, like that. Just keep sliding past them and you'll get them all done. You don't want to slide directly into them because you're most likely going to die, but just keep sliding past them. They'll keep getting weak. You want to do it whilst you're sliding too. Shortly after gets kind of tricky because it has to be so soon after, to the point where, yeah, it's not even worth risking that. So just make sure you're getting the kills while sliding like I am, by sliding past them and just getting them weaker and weaker until they eventually just die out. Each of these kills will be sliding kills, by the way. Every single last one of them. A lot of weapons will ask you to get human kills, and for those, you want to go all the way over to Clifftown. Over in Clifftown, there's a bunch of human spawns that you want to take advantage of. You can just rotate around the entire town and then they will keep respawning. That's literally the easiest place to do it. Just keep rotating around it, and sometimes even a VTOL will fly in to drop off more enemies. Take advantage of that. There's also another challenge that requires you to take out guild robots. Now, you can do that in the Clifftown as well, because robots will spawn every time humans spawn, and every time a VTOL comes in, 2 more robots will come in. So that's also another great place for doing that special challenge. However, another great place is at Old Arsenal. So let's fly over there so I can show you guys that. That's another thing too, actually. There's so much flying involved in this grind. You'll find yourself on one side of the map and then you have to complete another challenge which requires you to be on the other side of the map. Oh, actually, whilst I'm on my way to Old Arsenal, let me show you how to do another special challenge. So there will also be another special challenge that requires you to take out 25 drones. There's a couple other things that are optional, but you just want to focus on the drones. What you want to do is come over to this contract. I don't know if it's actually a contract. It's more of an activity. Surveillance control. You want to find one of those. You can find them in tier 2. You can also find them in tier 1 as well, whichever you want to do, whichever's closer. And what you want to do, hold up, let me take out this mangler. There we go. What you want to do is find it. It's right here. As you can see, you want to put 1 shot into it without destroying it. There we go. There's 1 shot into it, right? And what will happen now is a bunch of mini drones will start spot. Yo, can you guys leave me alone? Why have I got this enemy after me? Leave me alone. Basically, what happens is a bunch of mini drones keep spawning, an unlimited amount of them. So look at that. Sentry drone there. The main one's still in the middle, but the mini drones will keep spawning, and you just leave this one weak, or at least just 1 shot in it, and these mini drones will keep spawning, and you could just farm these until you get it complete. So I think it's 25 that you need to do altogether. It's not for this weapon in particular, I don't believe, but whatever weapon it is, just use these. That's all you need to do. If you need those drone kills, use this, the surveillance control, and they keep spawning him. It's so easy. But anyway, let's get over to Old Arsenal. Here is Old Arsenal, and here's where you want to be to take out the robots for that one special challenge. Well, it's for multiple weapons. So basically, you land here, and you want to focus on this middle area. You want to keep rotating around this one area of Old Arsenal, and you will keep seeing the robots respawn as you rotate all the way around. So you will land here. Let's say this is the starting point. One of them can spawn all the way over here. So let's get over here. There's a robot. There's also a robot that comes out of this building right here. Then you want to go back to where you just started, right? And there can also be a guild robot here. Boom. Guild robot, done. Guild robot, done. You carry on rotating around this way. You're not going to see one until you jump over the bridge. And there's one right here. Boom. Out of here. You can also, sometimes, if you got a long enough range weapon, you can see them spawn up over there, and you can take them out long range if you can. Either way, though, you're going to see another guild robot here. Beautiful. Keep rotating around, and then you won't see another one until maybe you jump over this wall and see one. Yep. There's another one. Now you won't see another one until you rotate all the way back round. Again, you can see one over here if you get lucky, but I don't see one here at all. You want to cut back over the bridge. Bear in mind, this is where we came from. We came from that way, looped all the way around, came up this side. We could see another guild robot here, but I don't see one. And by this time, usually they will have respawned. So you end up back where you were. You can give over here another check to see if they've respawned over this side. So I don't see one here, but the chances are there's going to be one inside coming out. Yep. There we go. And you just keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. And I'm telling you, you will end up getting all of the GR15 kills like it's nothing. This is how you want to keep rotating. They just keep spawning up in the exact same places. Look, it's the same thing. I guarantee there's one over here. Where are you? There we go. And then just keep it pushing, and you'll get used to it and just keep doing it, and you'll end up being so smooth with it. It got to the point where I was literally just flying with my grapple hook around the whole area, just knowing exactly where the guild robots were about to spawn. The one respawned here. Beautiful. One's probably going to be right by this gas station. Thank you very much. One could respawn here. Yep. Beautiful. There we go. There's going to be one coming out of this building. Once again, you just rinse and repeat. That's how you get the GR15 kills done. Other than that, though, I don't think there's any other crazy special challenges that you need to worry about. It's really just the ones that require very specific things, like the drone kills by using the surveillance control, the GR15 eliminations by going to Old Arsenal. There might be one that requires you to use a rare or higher weapon. For that, you want to go to a command center. If there's not already a jail workbench available for you on the map, you basically need to go to a command center and open your own. Now, rare or higher is pretty much just blue or higher, so you need blue, purple, or orange. So this one right here in the tier 2 zone will give me blue, which is good enough because that's rare. You'll fly over here. Hi guys, how are we all doing? Let's take the loud approach. Take all these guys out. They're really not the smartest. I will be honest. They're really not that crazy, especially once you've got your combat rating high enough. And that's why I keep saying that your combat rating is more important than people think in order to get this as fast as possible. Maybe not in general if you want to take your time, but if you want to go as fast as possible, you definitely want to make sure your combat rating is high enough. And if you have a launcher like this, look what you can do. That's the final guy. Activity complete. And now look, a workbench has opened up. Let's upgrade our flatline. And now it's red. You can see, what the flip? You can see it's changed to blue. And now we're good to go. Get out of here like Spider-Man. And now we're out. So if you need to get kills with your weapon rare or higher, just do that. However, like I said, most of the time, there will already be one of these open because someone else did it. So by the time you've got your critical kills for that weapon that you're doing, you can look on the map, look for a workbench, go to it, upgrade it, and finish your special challenges. So now you move on to the gold camo. And in this mode, gold requires you to kill 20 special enemies. The special enemies can be a type of zombie, but it can also be a regular human, but it's a special one.
Nice.
By the way, this is Clifftown that I was talking about. This is where you can find a lot of the humans. Look at that. So many humans, as well as robots and stuff like that. You can just fly around this zone. There's a bunch of them right here that spawn up. Yep, so many of them that you can just kill, but we're not worried about that right now. For the special enemies, all you want to do, nothing else, is go over to Colosseum, top right of the map. This is how it looks. It looks like a Colosseum. You fly over to this zone, and where you want to rotate is around here, around this area, all the way around here and all the way back. keep rotating around this loop on top of Coliseum, and that's where the special zombies, or special enemies, excuse me, will keep spawning. And the enemy you want to look for is a raider. That is a special enemy. So sometimes they can spawn in this little site. Apparently there's none here right now because they haven't respawned. 2 of them would usually spawn right here and here. You can find one in here as well, sometimes in the middle. You can see how they look in just a second, but yeah, you can find 4. If you get a group of enemies spawn here, there will be 4 raiders. That's 4 out of the 20 done. Then you want to grapple hook up here, come around here. Oh, there's people spawning here. So you want to look in here. This is a raider. See this guy? That's a raider. Boom, he's gone. Now you want to look for another one. Usually they spawn in 2s. In this particular part, there's only 1 usually. Oh wait, here's another one. Boom, there's 2. There's 3. And now you want to keep it pushing. You keep rotating around this whole line that I just told you about. Look, more enemies here. Look, 2 more. 1, 2. There might be another one. Is that a raider? Hello, bro. The raiders just infinitely spawn. You only really want to focus on those. You don't really need to take out the other enemies. What I've noticed personally is another 2. Thank you very much. What I've noticed personally is if you keep the rest of the enemies alive, the chances are when you rotate away and rotate back, a raider will have respawned. So if you take out all the enemies, it takes a little bit longer for them to respawn. I don't know how true that is, but that's how it feels. But once you get to this point, you've taken out all the raiders, then you want to keep flying back and forth until you see raiders respawn. They will respawn pretty easily, to be honest. Look, I think another raider respawned where we initially began. Look, there we go. And rinse and repeat. You get back here, maybe check the site to see if enemies have spawned there. Nope. Now we keep going backwards. We go back, just do exactly what we just did. They could also spawn out here. You can see them from there. So if you don't see any here, you don't have to worry about it. But you do have to make sure you check this back area because they can spawn right here as well. Boom, there's 1. You'll typically get like 3 of them out here if they do spawn. Once you do that, back to your regularly scheduled program and back to looking to see where they spawn. 2 will usually spawn right here, but they haven't. So you just keep it pushing. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes it goes a lot faster. Sometimes you might find yourself wondering why they're not respawning as often. Just don't worry. Just keep fighting through it and just wait. It's literally as simple as that. You get used to it to the point where you're literally just grapple hooking back and forth. Actually, just saw some spawn by these pillars like I just said. Boom, boom, on to the next. It's literally that simple. Isn't it crazy how fast you can get them? And by the way, you only need 20 of them, and that's for every weapon. You have to do that with the shotguns, the snipers, the melees, the assault rifles, SMGs. Gold is the same for every weapon. You come here, come to Coliseum, take out all the raiders, boom, get out of there. One thing I will say with the melee weapon, what you eventually end up doing is you're running through all of the weapons, getting 1 gold every game, and you'll find yourself with a lot of time left. So sometimes what I'll do before I exfil is I will go over, I'll go back to the tier 3 zone and just melee a bunch so I can get all of my eliminations out of the way with this melee. And then you get to the point where once you finish the special challenges for it, I think one of the special challenges for the melee weapon is to destroy the robots, like I just said, by going to Old Arsenal. You kind of work with the melee weapons alongside all of the other weapons that you're doing. And then you get to a point where maybe you're finishing your last assault rifle and you want to get something else gold. Just finish the melee weapon. Why not? Kill another 20 special enemies. And then you can move on to the next mastery camo. And the next mastery camo is the 100 fear enemies. You have to kill 100 fear enemies in the tier 3 zone or higher. So that means not the regular one, not the yellow one. That's orange or red. Which one would you pick? Let's go with the orange. Well, duh. There's no need to make your life more difficult. And I feel like that doesn't even need to be explained. What do you need to do there? Just go over to that zone, go to where the fear enemies spawn, like I did at the start of the game, just running back and forth, up and down the side, or anywhere else really, above resort, next to casino, anywhere. And then just get the 100 eliminations for the fear enemies, and then you're done with Moonstone. It's that easy. That's probably one of the easiest challenges to do. Once you've got everything gold, that's probably the challenge where you can start doing multiple weapons in one round. At least for me personally, I typically didn't do multiple gold camos in one game unless it was a melee and an assault rifle, or a melee and another main weapon, or maybe a launcher and another main weapon, but I wasn't really doing multiple, I'll be honest. But even for that, when you start doing multiple for Moonstone, you can just get a weapon from killing certain type of enemies. You can look at contracts that will give you a random weapon. For example, at HVT elimination, you can see on the right, it will give you a random weapon once you complete it. So if you're at the point where you want to complete multiple things in one game, you just go to those, open the weapon case, get a different weapon, and complete it. And like I said, with Moonstone, you'll be able to do that quite a lot because you only need 100 fear enemies eliminated. So you'll do that in like 5 minutes in that zone along the side of the map. And then you've got so many other weapons that you'll need to do. So you can come out of one match with so many Moonstone camos. All right, let's exfil before we get to the final challenge. Wait, how's another VTOL pulling up with enemies? How does that work? Yo, get out of here, man. Wait, was that an enemy? Yo. Yeah, it's all good. I got this. One shot. I'm telling you, once you find the arrow 109, please get it and make it legendary. Just do it. Oh yeah, by the way, if you find yourself struggling taking out certain types of enemies, just put on the field upgrade that gives you this. You put down a shield, stand inside of it, and now the enemies can't do anything to you, but you can shoot out of it. So you're invincible for the amount of time that this bubbles up. It's kind of broken. However, there's also more abilities that will help you out and can help you out. So my major ability is that ballistic shell that I just showed you. But what you can also put on is something like active camo. Active camo is great, and I will show you why it's so great in a second, especially when you want to upgrade your weapon. You can also use crash cart if you're playing solo like I did. Although I never did it, if you don't feel confident and feel like you might go down, crash cart is great because it will allow you to revive yourself even if you don't have a self res. But let's put active camo on for this next game just so I can show you guys how crazy it actually is, because I've already showed you how to get through the military camos, which is really easy. I've showed you how to get through the special camos. I showed you how to do the molten gold, the special enemies. I showed you how to do Moonstone with the 100 eliminations in tier 3 or tier 4. And now we move on to Chroma Flux, and this is the final challenge that you need to complete on each of the weapons before you unlock Genesis. And for this, you need to eliminate 10 elite enemies with every single weapon. So as well as the special enemies, for the 10 elite enemies, there's a very specific place that you want to do it and rotate around for them to keep respawning and for you to be able to get it done as fast as possible. Now, this does seem like it would be the longest challenge, and trust me, it's not. You can get all of your weapons, all 30 of them done, probably in a few hours. Genuinely, I was coming out of matches with 8 Chroma Flux weapons. That's 80 elite enemy eliminations. But the reason why active camo can be so important for this, if you don't feel confident enough, and I will show you a different way, is because typically you will want to increase your weapon rarity to legendary. And to do that, you have to go in here. So what I would do is activate active camo like this and just stroll in like nobody knows. There's enemies in here, don't get me wrong, there's already a teammate in here too, but I can just walk past absolutely everyone. They will have no idea, and I can upgrade whatever weapon I want. So let's upgrade my melee, and I can just stroll out of here. Look at that guy, and we're good to go. Active camo can help you make certain situations that appear to be really difficult really easy by making it so the enemies can't see you. And once you've got one legendary weapon, what you then need to do is find all the elite enemies. So you want to keep checking the minimap to see when you see an elite spawn, which is this icon. Keep shooting at them. Get out of here. Need you to die. Actually, there we go. Now you're gone. And you keep eliminating them. Obviously, you need 10 for each weapon. What you can do if you've still got the arrow launcher, which for this, if you want to do it with maximum efficiency, you probably won't have the launcher anymore because you want to be carrying 2 weapons that you need to do. But you eliminate one, keep flying around until you see another one spawn right here. Bear in mind, this is one that a lot of people would avoid because it's quite difficult to do. Since we've got the launcher though, we can do it because we will destroy it really quick. Let's get this guy out of here. There we go. And you see a weapon case drop. So just imagine, let me activate active camo. Look at all the enemies coming in. That's why this one's so difficult. There we go. We've just finished a weapon. Now we need another weapon to do. Open the cache, pick from one of these, one of them that hopefully you haven't got the 10 elite eliminations done on, and then carry on, keep doing the same thing, flying around, destroying the 10 elite enemies, and you're good to go. I would personally use the bubble shield again for this one, so you can literally stand right in front of the enemy. I would have done it for that one. And mainly where you want to rotate is around this area. So they will keep spawning around this whole bottom half. You will get a couple spawn in this building as well every so often, but mainly you want to be around this area. Now, if you see one spawn outside by this road, ignore it. If you see a mangler, ignore it. Please ignore it. They just have so much health, way too much health. You're just wasting your time shooting at them, so just totally ignore them and keep flying around looking for the other ones that spawn. The great thing about taking a weapon out of a weapon case in this tier 4 zone is that it's always legendary. A lot of the time you'll get into a match where people are doing the same thing and you don't need to worry, because as long as you've got a little bit of damage in that elite enemy, even if someone else kills them, it will count as your kill as well. That's why if you see someone running around doing the same thing, genuinely, it's a good good thing. Like, you actually want them to be doing that. You actually want to find people doing the same thing, because then you can just team shoot the elite enemies and do it with them. But that's all you want to do for every single weapon. And obviously there's more difficult weapons than others. Like, the sniper is pretty difficult. The melees can be pretty annoying, I guess. But when you've got multiple people there, it's so easy, because all you need to do is get a hit in, literally just one hit, and if someone else kills them, it's yours. Well, both of yours. So if you see someone there doing the same thing, try to invite those nearby players to your squad. You don't need to, because even if they're not on your squad, it still counts. But that definitely does help if they're doing it, because then you can see where they're pinging. So if you're working with someone, you can ping the elite and you both fly towards them, or if not, you can just follow each other and just do it that way. Try to get the difficult weapons out of the way when you do manage to find a match with multiple people doing it. If you're in a match where it's just you, maybe just focus on the easier weapons so you can take out the elite enemies and not have to worry about anything. But it's still possible regardless, even if you're just by yourself, to do all of those weird weapons. It's just easier, don't get me wrong, but you can at least, even if you're not the best or most efficient at doing it, you can at least get 5 of them done per game. And since you need to do 30 weapons, that's only 6 games that you would have to play. Think about how easy that is. That's crazy. Furthermore, when you get to a really difficult weapon, what you can do is have this arrow 109 in your back pocket. You can get in, and for the rhino elites, what you can do is put 3 shots into them with this arrow 109 direct impact, and it will make them 1 shot. What you need to do then, switch to the difficult weapon you're using, hit them, good to go. As long as you get the last hit in with that weapon, it will count towards that weapon. If it's one of those regular elites, not the rhino, you put 2 hits into them, that will make them 1 shot, and then you can finish them off with whatever weapon you want to do. It's literally that simple. But that is how you get the Genesis camo in 1 day. Woo! I would genuinely say, if you don't have much time to play this game and you're thinking, man, I want one of the mastery camos, which one do I go for? In that case, I think co-op campaign is the best one for you to do. It's the easiest, it's the smoothest, and it's probably the fastest. Literally, the only difficult part is getting your combat rating up to 60, and that's not even difficult, it's just kind of time consuming. Now, although this grind is really easy, and I feel like I told you everything that you need to know in order to get this done as fast as possible, I'm sure there's probably things that I missed. So if I did, feel free to leave those in the comments down below, because I'm sure they can help someone out. Before I let you guys go, make sure you go check out Boohoo Mine using my link in the description. There's a bunch of really nice stuff on there, and they've got some crazy Black Friday sales going on right now, so go make use of those. So there it is. We've done how to get Singularity camo in 1 day. We've done how to get Genesis camo in 1 day. Should we do Infestation next? Let me know if you want to see it. But thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.